I haven't posted a story for a few weeks now. Most of that time it's been the summer. I've been away um, down south of the border seeing relatives, so I haven't had a chance to post anything. So I thought I would post a news story and I would post you a Jack story. Now, Jack is a really, really important character in storytelling because he is a genre all to himself. Jack tales are really famous. You've probably heard of Jack and the Beanstalk or Jack the Giant Killer. They are just two stories in a huge raft of hundreds of tales about Jack. Jack is our hero, but he's kind of comes from a poor family, probably. Sometimes he's portrayed as a little dim, but somehow Jack always comes out on top. He always prevails through luck and sometimes a little bit of skill. This tale is called Lazy Jack. So, a long, long time ago, before your time and before mine, there lived a youth with his mother, and the youth was named Jack. And Jack was a big strapping lad, huge great big muscles, and I have no idea why, because Jack was lazy. During the summer he would laze on the porch in the sunshine, soaking up rays, and in the winter he would curl up in a ball by the hearth, keeping himself warm. But he would barely stir during the day. And once he'd finished either taking up the sunshine or keeping warm by the hearth, he would just go to bed and sleep some more. Jack had never done a day's work in his life. His mother, on the other hand, worked like a slave. She had her spinning wheel, and that's how she made her living. That's how she put bread on the table for Jack to eat. And being such a strapping lad, he ate a lot. But Jack was now getting older and his mother was starting to get really annoyed with Jack's lack of ambition, lack of willingness to get up and go out and earn some money. And so she gave him an ultimatum. Jack, my lad, she said, if you don't get off your behind and go and find yourself a job, I'm going to turf you out. You're going to be out and you're going to have to find your own lodgings and support yourself. So get yourself out, find yourself a job. Well, Jack was a bit startled. He'd considered that his entire life would be taken up soaking up sunshine and warming himself by the hearth. And so he was motivated to get up and get himself a job. And so the next morning, early, Jack got up and he went out to look for work. And he was really lucky. His first day, he found some work with a neighbouring farmer. And he worked really, really hard. The farmer was really pleased with him and so gave him a bright new penny as payment. Wow! Jack had never had money before because he'd never needed it, because you don't need money to soak up sunshine or warm yourself by the hearth. So he was really pleased. But unfortunately, because he wasn't used to money, when he walked over the bridge of a burn between the farm that he'd just been working at and going home, he dropped the penny somehow. And he dropped it into the water and lost it. When he got home, he told his mother all about it. I worked really hard, but somehow I lost the penny. Oh, you silly devil, she said. You should have taken the penny and put it in your pocket. Yeah. Next time, tomorrow, he said, tomorrow, mother, I'll make you proud. Don't you worry. And so the next day came, and bright and early, Jack got up, got out of bed, and went looking for some work. This time, he found some work with a cowherd who had this enormous herd of cows to look after, and Jack worked hard. He helped milking the cows, he helped separating the calves from the bulls, and he helped all day, and the cowherd was so pleased. He gave Jack a jug of milk, big jug of milk to take home. There you go, he said. You and your mother, you have that. It'll be nice tonight. She'll be proud. Jack took the jug of milk, put it in his pocket, and started to walk home. Well, the milk spilt all down his breeches. He lost it all. By the time he'd walked home, there was no milk left. He'd just got the jug. And he said to his mother, "Do you know, I had this milk, put it in my pocket, worked hard all day." "Ah, you silly devil," she said. "What you should have done, if you've got a milk jug, is put it on your head and you can balance it like that." "Ah, okay, I've got it. Mother, I've got it. Tomorrow I'll make you proud." Bright and early the next morning, Jack gets up, determined that today is going to be his day. Off he goes to look for work. This time, he found some work with a local cheesemaker. And he worked really hard all day, packing the cheeses, making sure they were ripe, fetching, carrying, helping with customers. Fantastic. The cheesemaker was so pleased with Jack's work that he gave him a huge cream cheese to take home for he and his mother to eat for dinner. Jack was beside himself. He took the cream cheese and he balanced it on his head, ready to go home. The day was warm and the cheese melted all over Jack's head. Some of it he lost on the path, and the rest of it mattered neatly into his hair. By the time Jack got home, he looked like he was sort of wearing a kind of cheese helmet. And he explained to his mother, "Mother, I worked really hard all day, and I did as you said. I took what I was given and I put it on my head and it melted." "Oh," she said, "you silly devil. What you should have done is taken it into your hands and walked gently home with it, and then we could have eaten it. I'm getting a bit sick and tired of bread and crackers." I've got it, said Jack. Don't you worry. Tomorrow it'll be great. Tomorrow and I'll make you proud." Tomorrow came, and Jack was up with the lark. Never was there a more motivated man than Jack. And he got a job for the day with the baker. Baking bread, working with the ovens, working with customers. Oh my goodness. The baker was so proud and so pleased with Jack that he gave him a cat. Said the baker, "Look, I know you've got mice problems at home, so this cat will really sort them out. He's absolutely brilliant. And I can't fault your work, Jack. I think you were really good." So Jack took the cat in his hands and started to walk home. But by the time he'd got 100 yards, the cat had scratched his hands and his arms, and he was covered in blood, and the cat had got away. And when Jack got home, he told his mother, and he showed his mother his hands, which were all covered in blood and scratches. "Ah," she said, "we could have really done with that cat. Ah, you silly devil. Next time, you put a collar on it, you put a leash on it, and you drag it home. We could have really done with that. We're covered in mice everywhere." Got it. Don't you worry, Mum. Tomorrow, I'm going to make you proud." Tomorrow came, and Jack was up with the lark. And today he got a job with a butcher. And he was in the butcher shop and he was chopping meat, helping with customers, helping in the shop, lugging stuff around because he was a great big fella, Jack. The butcher was so pleased. that he gave Jack a great big shoulder of mutton. "Ah," said Jack, "nothing gets past me." And he took a leash and a collar and he put it round the bone of the mutton and he dragged it home, just as his mother had told him. Well, there wasn't much left of the mutton by the time he dragged it along all the dirt roads and the paths leading from the butcher's shop in the town to his home on the common. I'm not quite sure of the words that his mother used, but let's stick with "you silly devil." I'm sure they would have loved a shoulder of mutton to eat, but there was nothing left of it. It was so spoiled. "Next time," she said, "put it on your shoulder and carry it home." "Got it, got it, got it," said Jack. "Tomorrow I'm going to make you proud." And tomorrow came, and as usual, Jack was up with the lark. No messing about, straight out the door, and he got a job with a tinker. And they went from fair to fair that day, and Jack helped him put his stalls up and did all sorts of fantastic things with this tinker. And the tinker was so impressed with Jack's work ethic that he gave him a donkey as a gift for his work for the day. Jack was a big strapping lad. This donkey was pretty big, and getting it on his shoulder was really hard work, but he managed it. And the donkey was kicking and braying and trying to get off Jack's back. But no, Jack had hold of him, his big brawny arms round this donkey, and he staggered up the path through the town towards his home with this donkey thrashing around on his shoulders. Now, as Jack walked through the town, people laughing and sniggering at the sight, he passed a rich man's house. And this rich man had a daughter, and the daughter, alas, was deaf and dumb. And she had been since her mother had died. And all of the physicians were unable to bring her speech back or her willingness to interact with other people. Such was her grief. Eventually they'd said that if anything could make her laugh, that would probably restore her to her natural state of being able to speak and wanting to communicate with others. It just so happened that she was looking out of the window when Jack staggered past with a thrashing donkey on his back. At first, she giggled a bit, and then she started to roar with laughter. She'd never seen anything quite as ridiculous as a youth carrying a thrashing donkey on his back. She laughed. The tears ran down her cheeks. She couldn't stop laughing. Her father came in to see what the commotion was and was overjoyed to see that his daughter was laughing at Jack carrying the donkey. And he was so pleased that he offered his daughter and Jack to get married. Because when they'd seen each other, they fell in love. So Jack joined the rich man's family and eventually inherited his wealth and lived a very, very fine, comfortable life. And to make his mother proud, she came to live with them too. And there you go. There's a Jack tale. They're all pretty much similar. Jack is our hero, and he always wins through. And maybe that's the tale. Maybe that's the moral. That despite everything, we can always win through. Have a great day.